1973. Three researchers, Fisher Black, Myron Scholes, and Robert Merton, wrote down a single equation and changed finance forever. This equation, the Black-Scholes partial differential equation, 4 terms, 1 time derivative, 1 second derivative, 1 first derivative, 1 discount. It now governs a market that trades in trillions of dollars every single day. Today we will derive it, not once, but twice. First, by hedging. Using Ito's lemma from episode 9, we will build a portfolio whose randomness vanishes, and what remains must be this equation. Then, a second route, Feynman-Kac. The same answer, written as an expectation under a different probability measure. 2 paths, 1 equation. And here is the secret. This equation is not really about options. It is the canonical example of a Kolmogorov backward equation, the same machine that 50 years later generates the images you see on Midjourney and Sora, the Trillion-Dollar PDE. Today we earn it. The Black-Scholes derivation begins with a refusal. We will not try to predict where the stock is going. We will not estimate its expected return, its volatility risk premium, or its terminal distribution. Instead, we will replicate the options payoff with a portfolio of stocks and bonds. And once we can replicate it, no arbitrage forces its price. You have already seen this argument in episode 2. A stock at $100 could go up to $120 or down to $80. To replicate a call option that paid $20 in the upstate and $0 in the downstate, we held 1/2 of a share and borrowed $38.05. The portfolio cost $11.95. 2 equations, 2 unknowns, 1 unique price. Now we go continuous. The stock no longer makes one jump up or down, it moves every instant. Geometric Brownian motion. ds equals mu sdt plus sigma sdw drift plus diffusion. The same model from episode 7. Now form a replicating portfolio x sub t, delta sub t shares of stock plus b sub t in bonds. The blue bar is the stock position, the yellow bar is the bond, and it is below 0. We are borrowing. And here's the rule. The portfolio is self-financing, meaning no money flows in or out, except for shifting between the 2 positions. Mathematically, dx equals delta ds plus r times b dt. The bond grows at the risk-free rate. The stock position changes only because the stock moves. And we demand one thing. At expiry, the portfolio must equal the options payoff. X sub t equals v at s sub t and t, which equals the maximum of s sub t minus k or 0. Once we accept this constraint, the options price is no longer a question of opinion. Replication forces a unique answer. Next, we apply Ito's lemma, and the answer reveals itself as a partial differential equation. We have a stock that follows geometric Brownian motion. We have a hedged portfolio, the option minus delta shares of stock. The next move is the most consequential in all of finance. We apply Ito's lemma to the option price 5, which is a smooth function of 2 variables, the stock price s and time t. Ito's lemma says dv equals v sub t dt plus v sub s ds plus 1/2 v sub ss times ds squared. The second derivative term, the Ito correction, is what distinguishes stochastic from ordinary calculus. Substitute ds and use the rule ds squared equals sigma squared s squared dt. The result has 4 terms. 3 of them multiply dt, the deterministic part. 1 of them multiplies dw, the stochastic part. Take a moment with that. The dw term, sigma sv sub s times dw, is randomness, leaking into the option's value. To price the option, we must eliminate it. Now compute dpi. dpi equals dv minus delta times ds. We substitute both in group-like terms. The dt bracket has 4 terms now, including a new term minus mu s delta from minus delta ds. The dw bracket has 2 terms, sigma sv sub s minus sigma s delta. Here is the magic. We choose delta to be partial v partial s. That is, the option's delta equals the option's sensitivity to the stock. Look at the dw bracket, sigma sv sub s minus sigma sv sub s 0. The randomness is gone. And look, at the dt bracket, mu sv sub s minus mu sv sub s also 0. The drift mu has vanished too. 2 birds with 1 stone. What remains? dpi equals v sub t plus 1/2 sigma squared s squared v sub ss, all multiplied by dt. No randomness, no drift, purely deterministic. A portfolio that grows with certainty must, by no arbitrage, earn the risk-free rate. Set those 2 equal, and out falls the Black-Scholes PDE. That is the next 2 minutes. From section 3, d pi equals v sub t plus 1/2 sigma squared s squared v sub ss, all multiplied by dt. No randomness, no drift. Now we apply the no arbitrage principle. A portfolio whose value evolves with certainty must earn the risk-free rate r. Otherwise, you would have free money. So d pi equals r times pi dt. And since pi is v minus v sub s times s, we can write d pi as r times the quantity v minus v sub ss dt. Now equate the deterministic growth from section 3 equals the no arbitrage growth from no arbitrage. V sub t plus 1/2 sigma squared s squared v sub ss equals rv minus rs v sub s. Move every term to the left, and out it falls. This, the Black-Scholes Merton partial differential equation. 4 terms, 1 time derivative, 1 Ito correction, 1 drift rate term, 1 discount. This is the equation that won the Nobel Memorial Prize in 1997 and opened a global derivatives market measured in trillions of dollars. But notice, we have a PDE, not a price. Knowing the equation is not the same as knowing the answer. Next, we add boundary conditions and extract a closed-form solution. The Black-Scholes Merton PDE is a beautiful equation, but it's not a price. It is, in fact, a sentence with infinitely many possible endings. We need 3 boundary conditions to pin down the unique solution. The first and most important is the terminal condition. At expiry, the option pays the maximum of S minus K or 0. This is the famous hockey stick payoff, a sharp kink at the strike. The other 2, if the stock ever reaches 0, a call is worthless. And as the stock grows very large, the call's value approaches the stock minus the discounted strike, almost a forward contract. Now think backwards from expiry. Just before expiry, the price curve is almost the kink, but slightly smoothed. A bit earlier, smoother still. The further from expiry, the more the kink rounds out. Uncertainty has time to spread. By the time we get back to today, the price curve is a perfectly smooth function of S. That curve, at t equals 0, is what we want. Solving the PDE with these 3 conditions can be done in many ways. Gaussian convolution, heat equation reduction, even Feynman-Kac, which we will see in the next section. We will skip the algebra and jump to the answer, the Black-Scholes formula. The call value equals S times n of d sub 1, minus k times e to the minus r times t minus t times n of d sub 2, where d sub 1 and d sub 2 are 2 probability adjustments. Note carefully. D sub 1 uses r plus sigma squared over 2, not minus. This is the single most copied error in option pricing. Plug in our numbers. S equals k equals 100. R is 5%, sigma is 20%, t is 1 year, d sub 1 is 0.35, d sub 2 is 0.15, the price is $10.45, and here is the punchline. That same $10.45 is what we got from Ep10's binomial tree at the limit of infinitely many time steps. 2 completely different methods, 1 answer, and there is yet a 3rd way to arrive at exactly the same number. Through the Feynman-Kac theorem, same destination, different road. So far, we have walked 1 road. Delta hedging gave us a PDE. Boundary conditions and algebra gave us the closed-form answer, $10.45. And there is a 2nd road, a road that does not touch a PDE at all. A road that arrives at exactly the same number by completely different mathematics. That road is named after Richard Feynman and Mark Kac, and it begins with a change of probability. Under the real-world measure P, the stock has drift mu, its actual expected return. But for pricing options, we do not use mu. We use a different probability, called the risk-neutral measure Q. Under Q, the stock's drift is replaced by R, the risk-free rate. The volatility sigma is unchanged. This isn't a behavioral assumption. It is a mathematical tool. The result follows from a theorem named after Gersonov, which we'll prove in episode 12. Now, under Q, the stock is just geometric Brownian motion. We can simulate it. Let's draw 80 sample paths, all starting from $100, all evolving with risk-neutral drift. Each path lands somewhere at expiry. The green ones finished above the strike. Those paid off. The gray ones finished below. Those paid nothing. The fair price is average the payoffs, then discount back to today, which leads us to the Feynman-Kac formula. The option's value at any time t equals the present value discount factor times the risk-neutral expectation of the terminal payoff given the current stock price. This formula solves the same PDE we derived from delta hedging. But no PDE is written. The link is a theorem, not a coincidence. Let's verify. From Section 5, the closed form gave us $10.45. From 80 Monte Carlo paths under Q, we get $10.35, within 10 cents of each other. The tiny gap is Monte Carlo noise. It shrinks as 1 over root n. With 100,000 paths, we match to the penny. Same number, 2 roads. Next, we will look at the PDE again with new eyes, because hidden inside it is a statement about the options sensitivities, what traders call the Greeks. Look at the PDE we derived one more time. There is something hidden in it. The first term, partial V partial T, that is theta, the rate at which the option loses value as time passes. The second derivative term, that is gamma, the curvature of the option's price with respect to the underlying. The first derivative term, that is delta, the hedge ratio, the same delta we used in Section 3 to make randomness vanish. So substitute these names back in. The PDE becomes RV equals theta plus RS delta plus 1/2 sigma squared S squared gamma. The Black-Scholes equation is a relation among the Greeks. Read it as a budget. The cost of holding the option, RV on the left, is paid for by 3 things: time decay, drift, and curvature. At the money, the numbers balance to the cent. Next episode, we see these Greeks as full 3-dimensional surfaces and feel their geometry. Recall the Feynman-Kac formula from Section 6. The option's value is a discounted risk-neutral expectation of the payoff. A simple, beautiful equation. Now I want to ask one more question. Is this only about options? Is the PDE we derived only useful for pricing financial derivatives? The answer is no. The same mathematical machinery, exactly the same, powers the AI image generation models you use every day. Stable Diffusion, Sora, Midjourney. They are all built on what mathematicians call diffusion processes. You start with a clean image and you add noise step by step following an SDE. The stochastic differential equation, dx equals minus 1/2 beta of t x dt plus square root beta dw. After enough steps, the image is pure noise. To generate a new image, you run this process backwards. You start from random noise and you remove noise step by step until a clean structured image appears. Generation is denoising. Now look at what denoising actually computes. Given a noisy image, the model predicts the clean image as a conditional expectation. Expected clean image given the noisy one. Compare it with finance. Expected payoff given the path, same shape. And in mathematics, both of these conditional expectations are solutions of one and the same equation, the Kolmogorov backward equation. The Black-Scholes PDE is one specialization. The reverse SDE in diffusion models is another. So here is the deeper truth. Pricing an option equals the expected payoff given the path. Generating an image equals the expected clean given the noisy path. Same Feynman-Kac, different world. The Black-Scholes equation is not really about options. It is the canonical example of a parabolic backward equation, and parabolic backward equations are how mathematics turns randomness into deterministic structure. One more section to go, the outrow, and a preview of episode 11. So that was 20 minutes of mathematics and 4 faces of one equation. The Black-Scholes PDE derived from delta hedging, the closed form price, $10.45, the Feynman-Kac twin, a risk-neutral expectation, and the bridge to AI image generation where the same Kolmogorov backward equation reappears. But before we close, look at the PDE one more time. Each term is a Greek, theta, delta, gamma. And these Greeks are not just numbers. They are full 3-dimensional surfaces over price and time. In the next episode, we will see them and feel their geometry. Episode 11, Greek surfaces. See you there.